Welcome to the potentially biggest update yet of Cities Skylines 2. This has been an absurdly big info drop about city services. In today's video, I'm gonna bring you all the info of a 3.5 minute long video plus a 26 pages dev diary thingy that you don't need to read. In fact, you don't see that's that many pages, but trust me, the PDF file I got sent as an early access is tremendously long, and oh boy, there is so much to discuss. Loads of it is already known, so we're going to skip all the services, or most of the services you are already very much aware of from the first cities. So basically you can see, say everything that has been in Cities 1 is available in Cities 2 as well, and we are speaking about the vanilla version. But most of the stuff that came with the DLCs is also available to you, plus a lot of new stuff, and you've seen that from the thumbnail, including the internet, for example, and some other really cool stuff. But let's go through the video and talk about these little bits here and there. There is also some info I'm gonna give you on my voiceover that is not in this video in particular. There are some really good info dumps in this article as well, so I'm gonna give you those little bits at the end of the video that have not been shown in these wonderful moving images in front of us. Now, let's actually go from the start, and there is so much to talk about. So let's start with the easy stuff at the beginning. You have electricity, you've got water, you've, the basis of every good city builder is in here. We can just quickly check mark the normal stuff. Energy is, sourced from either green energy or fossil fuel energy. You can actually have the same stuff as in the previous one, even though the choices are a bit different. So you do have solar panels, you've got wind turbines, you've got a water turbine thingy, you've got a geothermal kind of factory that you can use, or you can go via coal and gas, or obviously the nuclear power. That's the availabilities for you. Water has actually changed quite a bit Actually, there will be a feature focus next week of water, but it has been changed from what you know in the past game. You can't just plop down water towers anymore. Now you will have to find water reservoirs that are below the ground. So I assume there's, shown like other resources on the map, and you really have to plan. And these areas are very prone to become dirty and polluted by other things around. So you better do not put your industry section on top of your water reservoirs. Then obviously we've got healthcare and stuff like that. You still need to build your cemetery. You can do either the cemetery or and the other stuff you have around, like in the first one. You can click down hospitals as always, but this is also one check mark we can already do. One big update is that you don't have to put down like a small or a big fire station anymore, or like a small or a big ambulance station or whatever, or like a hospital. Now you can upgrade these things, and upgrades go from either functionality upgrades of your building, sub-buildings, or actually improvements around the building. So you can really update your buildings not only with a higher capacity or like a higher radius they can fulfill, but also with a higher efficiency and more services, such as, for example, your fire department can also act like rescuing people from a disaster. We'll speak more about disasters in a second. As you can tell over here, these are the Descast services, and if you go further in, there is also a school system. It remained almost the same, but you will have now 5 different levels of education. You're gonna start with the uneducated, then you've got the poorly educated, you've got the educated, the well-educated, and the highly educated, as you can see in this picture over here. This is a very average city, which has like a good amount of educated people, not that many well-educated people, actually quite some more highly educated people. Very interesting to see. You can see this in here. Very interesting. In a bit, we will actually go to one of the newest services. I'm just going to go forward. You've obviously parks and leisures and stuff like that is in. You've got parks, monuments, and other recreational stuff. Not too exciting, to be honest. It's basically the same. You put them down. As I said, fire departments, we already spoke about that. But I need to tell you as well that fire this time around comes at the very beginning already, including what we have already known from natural disasters. So you will also have to watch like forest fires and stuff like that to make like watchtowers and all that kind of stuff, and the city fires as well. You do have an option now to ensure that trees are regrowing in these areas where there had been a fire. That was one of the pollution things that were kind of nasty in the first one. You kind of needed mods to get rid of it, but yeah, you can also plot these down. Police is the same. If I got this correct, this is the only thing I did not completely understand. I think you will have to put patrol routes on to ensure that your neighborhood is kind of more secure. It's not enough anymore to just plop down the police station. You actually have to actively put them on patrol. I'm not sure if you need to put them on patrol by clicking just patrol, or you have to actively create one. I assume it's the first, but you never know. I did not really understand this fully. But now, this is interesting, we come to telecommunications, and as I said in the title or in the thumbnail, I don't know, but this is already better as Germany is, because as you can see in here, this is kind of coverage is pretty okay in this city. If that was Germany, you would basically have everything in the red and everything in the grayish. There was literally nothing. You know, I don't want to ramble too much about Germany, but Germany has one of the worst internet connections in the freaking world. It's not even, I'm not even exaggerating. If you check the list of countries by number, Germany is quite far down. Anyways, let's continue in the video. Yeah, as I said, it's really interesting because we can now put down certain things. I also love the fact how internet is now also graphically a thing that is more available in the center city, while it becomes less available in the outskirts, which kind of resembles reality. And it's a very interesting service because it is so realistic, but it has never actually been done in a game as far as I know. So very interesting. You can basically put down these things. As you can see, you've got 4 different options, as it seems. While I think 2 of them are antennas. This seems to be like a bigger satellite one, and that seems to be like a telecommunication building. And then you have obviously the obvious kind of highlighting factors that you can see how your city is doing with this. So yeah, interesting. People are happy about this. All the smartphone zombies or smombies, how they're called, will be happy out there. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. I saw these things and I was like, I thought them a couple of times in the trailer and so on. I was like, what the heck is this? I was assuming that's electricity, but hell no, it's not. So yeah, very interesting. Outages are still a thing. They do not also affect that people do not have energy. They will actively go on strike and make sure that, you know, actually they leave the houses as well as go on strike. So that they don't work anymore, and workers will actually leave if the outage is too long. So you have to then deal with yeah, personal or staff issues. So that's basically what you need to do. As you can see, there's quite a lot of things in here that you can put down, and they just put another transformer down. Transformer buildings, I am absolutely not sure if they were in Vanilla Cities 1. I assume there weren't, but maybe they were. And I just confused that with the mod. As I said, sorry, sometimes it's just like there's been so much going on in the past that with mods and stuff and DLCs that I'm not fully aware of what was in and what not. But yeah, so as you can see, solar plants over here, we talked about that, nuclear power, blah, blah, blah. And we also have to speak about some more ugly things like sewage and just waste management in general. Basically, it remains exactly the same as Cities 1. You can either purify it with a purification plant, as you can see over here, make sure that you have it on terrain, or you can put this into a river and then put a kind of cleaning option further down the river. Always ensure that you watch the kind of, you know, the direction that the water flows, because that means how your sewage is basically affecting the environment around. So you better have it not running through your city. But management is almost the same. However, and this is something you can tell from the image, the nasty pipe work is not as bad anymore as in the first one. It is all connected to the roads. I mean, we spoke about that quite some time already. It is, as we all were assuming, you've got water and heat going through the roads, as well as electricity. So that makes sense, because this way it's a lot easier to connect everything together. It obviously then has to be connected to a road. If not, you still have the pipe option to reconnect it. We still have water towers, but I do assume they only work in these reservoirs where you got water. But yeah, so this is all about water. You can see purification plants are all in. And then we do have the waste management, which is again something that we've already known, but what I like especially is this little bit over here. You can actually put node-based areas down where they can put down the junk. And oh boy, is that great, because this has been something super annoying in the first bit. I know how many of those I just plopped down, and I always wanted to make like these kind of big you know, waste areas that you do know from real life. Like almost every city has that little hill in the city, you know, where you can actually go and also leave your stuff. If you have too much at home, you just bring it there, you know, pay $10 or whatever, and you can just throw it onto the pile. But in Cities 1, that was always the same. I remember that I even spent a whole episode making only that thing look good by just clipping things together. Now I don't have to anymore. I can just fence it myself and increase the size if needed, because as you can tell over here, the size is relatively big. So yeah, so very good that we do have this option now in game, and this one over here became absolutely tremendously big, which is insane. But I can also assume that this will then be able to be burned or whatnot, as you can tell with the different buildings, and then you may get rid of some of this as in Cities 1. Not too many changes, and as always, the effect on the environment is relatively large, so you want to better put it in an area where it does not affect your buildings or your citizens as much. So yeah, that's something. As always, you need to plan that, and air pollution is still a thing, you know, nothing too surprising, you know that from the past. And we also needed to talk about updates and upgrades, so to say. You can put down schools and whatnot, but you can all upgrade these buildings, which is super, super cool, because that's again something that helps so much with how you need to change certain areas, and you don't need to kind of completely redo an area in order to build another school or whatnot. You can just update that, and that makes your life a lot more easy, which I think is beautiful. The same goes for city service buildings, and there's a new building I completely forgot about. That is the central bank, which takes care of your tax system and will give you updates on tax systems and stuff like that. And you do have the city service center as well. So really, really good options that you do have available over here. Excuse me. The buildings, as you can say, are all upgradable, as I said, and you will have different types of upgrade. We talked about that already. And we do have all the management overviews in the service center, as you can tell over here. They will all you know, cost you a lot of money, but sometimes they even are potentially, yeah, good in terms of profit, because education research will give you an effect of fees from all the people, you know, studying there, which makes sense. But the rest obviously is, as always, just costing you money, which, you know, is a thing of city services. That's why you do have this tab on the left-hand side over there, which is taxation. And yeah, so that's that about all these things. But as promised, I will now jump over into the article. I will keep this wonderful image running for you. So we're gonna have the trailer running in the background, but I will then inform you about the things that were not seen in the video, but still are quite interesting to talk about real quick, so you do not have to scroll through all these pages and the you know, wall of text. So see you in a sec. Alright, as promised, we are going to go over the changes I have not spoken about in the video real quick. So the first one is very important, that you do need to send out your fleets of the maintenance building in order to make sure that they do maintain certain things. So as you need to send out the police cars, you also need to send out the road maintenance vehicles, as well as everything else. Now the next point, and this might be already the most important one I have not spoken about because it's not been in the video, is the disaster. So it seems like we will have disasters in the game from the very beginning, and so we do have an early disaster warning system building that detects natural disasters and warns the people. And to actually do something with the warning, there is a new emergency shelter building, and by new I mean one in the vanilla game and not with the DLC. So that's pretty cool, and as of now we only know about fires, like forest fires, but who knows what else is in there. I can definitely see the big flood wave coming in again, but that's one of these important things. The other thing I need to talk about is to communication. There is a second layer. We do not only have the telecommunication, we also have the classic mail. So you do have a post office where you have vans and stuff bringing your mail actually into your city, which again is something you do have to put down. Just really quickly plop it down. You've got this covered in the region where this building does work. And last but not least, we need to speak about passive effects that all all the buildings have. And for example, healthcare facilities do have a passive health bonus on the people living close by. Education has the well-being bonus for families. Fire departments decrease the fire hazard in general. The police departments, by putting them down, just decrease the crime accumulation in that region. Parks and recreation buildings, surprise, surprise, do increase well-being bonuses, and welfare offices will be also there for well-being bonus for citizens whose happiness is low. So yeah, that's that. And I think with that said, we can round up today's video. This has been a deep dive into, very quickly deep dive by the way, into the city services. A lot is going on, and if you add all the stuff that we already know from Cities 1, that's gonna be quite a hell of work to bring this all up and running, but I'm all in for that. I'm really a mega hyped for it, so let me know if you are still as hyped as I am. I just don't want to make these videos anymore. I want to bring you gameplay. So let's hope that this is coming rather quickly, so we can actually enjoy the game and see how good all these bits actually connect to each other. Until then, have a good time. Thank you so much for watching as always, and happy week. See you in the next one, I guess, and stay safe. Goodbye.